I love celebrating. I really love Christmas. The lights, the baking, the carols, the cozy sweaters. It's all a big deal in our home. But during my homeschool years, back in the day, I learned the hard way that trying to do it all can actually rob the season of its joy. See, I grew up with a single mom who also made Christmas a big deal, really big. There were gifts piled up under the tree, wrapping paper everywhere, and credit card bills that lasted all year long, long after the lights came down. She really wanted to give us the world. When I became a mom, I didn't want that same stress and the lingering reminder that I spent way too much on Christmas. I wanted the meaning without the mayhem. But the truth is, I still fell right into that trap. I was that mom, the one with a tree in every room, fresh baked cookies, homemade crafts, church and homeschool productions and parties, gift exchanges, and traveling to see the in laws. I longed to make everything perfect, especially in my imperfect, often distressful world. Having a happy Christmas and memories wrapped in warmth was a sign that all was well with my soul, that our family really was merry and bright. And for a number of years, my madness around the holidays kind of brought me a sick sense of stability. I imagined we were that family. But, friend, it was too much. Then came that year when every holiday was marked by heartbreak and exhaustion. It was that year, the day after Christmas, when the sheriff came knocking at my front door with divorce papers. And that was the year everything began to change. The following holiday, we escaped. We ran for the hills or the beach, but I knew I wouldn't be able to run away forever. In fact, playing in the waves on Christmas morning wasn't enough for my family, who by then had learned to love some of our holiday traditions. We ended up buying Pillsbury ready to make sugar cookie dough and Christmas cutters on sale by then and made cookies. We collected seashells and made homemade ornaments for our $10 Charlie Brown Christmas tree. The following holidays would be different. We would throw out the crazy and craft a rhythm that worked for our family. The best decision I made was to give our family the gift of time. So on December 1st, guess what this homeschool mama did? She had the kids pack up all their school books in tubs and slide them under the bed. I decided that learning that month would look different. It would look like baking, like giving, like hosting, like silent nights beside the twinkling lights of the tree, reading stories. I found a great book by Max Lucado called, at the time, Cosmic Christmas. We were enthralled with this novelette about the spiritual battle that was going on behind the scenes of the conception and birth of Jesus. We began to learn the beauty of slowing down, to savor the story of Jesus's birth. That became the moment I learned to be still. Not because everything was peaceful, but because we needed to encounter the Prince of Peace. And friend, if you're running on fumes right now, if you're seeing the gas tank become increasingly lower, wondering, is there another way? There is. Welcome to Mom Mentoring. I'm your host, Misty Hughes, and I am so glad you're here. You know, I created this podcast because I spent years searching, weeping, and honestly whining to God about the lack of older women who could mentor me through the chaos of motherhood. I was a young mom raising 4 kids, divorced, without a clue how to live in Christ, manage my home, provide for my family, love my kids well, and care for myself. So each week, I invite you to press pause on the busy demands of life and sit around the table with me, oftentimes with some other incredible seasoned mom mentors who walk in wisdom and grace. We're here to share stories, to swap advice, to lift each other up, and find the answers to the questions that your heart is searching for. Because here's what I know to be true: you don't have to have it all figured out, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to know you are not alone and that there's hope for a different way. Which brings me to something I'm really excited to invite you to. I know that right now, this moment, you might be feeling the holiday pressure starting to build. The Amazon boxes are maybe piling up, the calendar is starting to fill in, and that whisper in your soul says, there has to be more than this, is getting louder. And you're right, there is more. On Tuesday, November the 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm hosting a free 75-minute virtual encounter called Be Still Before the Holidays Begin. This is a soul reset for busy, kingdom-minded moms. Mama, this isn't just another event to add to your to-do list. This is an invitation to step into a sacred space before the hustle and bustle takes over, to prepare your heart and your home for a holiday season that looks and feels different. We're going to journey together into what it really means to be still, not because everything around us is calm, but because we need to encounter the one who is the Prince of Peace. You can register right now at momtomommentoring.com/be still. Again, it's momtomommentoring.com/be still. It is completely free, it's live, and I really hope you'll join me. So today, let's talk about why stillness isn't just a nice idea. It's a necessity, and why knowing God, really knowing Him in the quiet, is the only way we're going to step into this season and do it differently. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Now, friend, I have to tell you, our family, we needed peace in our homes and in our bodies, not just during the holidays, but every day. Fortunately, I had the privilege of being mentored and discipled in the place of prayer by two amazing women, Margaret Thurkelson and Kathleen Kennedy. These powerhouse prayer warriors taught me the power and beauty of fixing my eyes on Jesus, not the problem, but the problem solver. And during the holidays, what greater opportunity to dwell on the one that we are told is given to us as a gift. For unto us a child is born, a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. But there's a key that we often forget. It lies in Psalm 46. We are called to be still and know. You see, we want the knowing without the stillness. We want the hearing without taking time to listen. True confession. When I get busy, I pray, but my prayers are along the way prayers, and they matter, but they are not conversations. They are not me inviting Jesus in. They are more me telling, and I may be asking, but I'm certainly not pausing to listen. This happens in my marriage when I get busy as well. And over time, I start to feel a separation, a distance, a disconnect. And when my sparkle loses its shine, when my words aren't edifying, when my disposition becomes disgruntled and disruptive, I know there's something going on. I've forgotten his presence, and I've got busy chasing his promises. So, I take a deep breath and I step back into the wisdom of Psalm 46 and I get still so I can know him. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Beloved, these aren't just gentle invitations, they are sacred instructions for weary hearts like yours. You can't know God in the busyness. You can't hear his whisper when the noise is constant. You can't experience his peace when your soul never stops moving. The stillness isn't where you lose control, it's where you finally remember who is in control. Isaiah 30:15 gives another perspective on the power of stillness. In quietness and trust is your strength. I know, it doesn't seem right, but we live in an upside down kingdom. His ways are not our ways, his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Our kingdom would say, you get stronger by doing more. You wear busyness as a badge of honor. But in his kingdom, he says, your strength is in quietness and trust. So I want to invite you right now to take a breath. Maybe close your eyes if you can, but please, not if you're driving. That might be putting the idea of trust to the test in a way that isn't wise. But if you are able, close your eyes. I'm going to count to 4, and I want you to breathe in, quiet your soul. And then I'm going to count to 4 again and let your breath out slowly, as if you're releasing everything into the arms of Christ. Are you ready? Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I just want to stay in that space and continue breathing. And if that's you right now, and if you're able, just press pause and take a couple more deep, cleansing breaths. I have a friend, Lori Gadu, and used to when I was running the nonprofit and still raising kids and still doing all the things, she would look at me and she would say, Misty, when is the last time you breathed? And I'd be like, oh, yeah. We all need friends like that. But now that we've come to a place of stillness and quiet in our souls, I want to give you a few questions for you to consider. I'm not asking you to do anything about the answer to these questions, but if you're able, capture the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask these questions. Lord, where do I need to slow down? What is one thing I'm saying yes to that is actually stealing my peace? What would it look like for my home to reflect your rhythm instead of the world's? And here's the last question that maybe should have been the first. Jesus, who do you want to come as in our home during this holiday season? Remember, Mom, I'm not asking you, and Jesus is not asking you to fix everything or even anything. You know, without a vision, we perish. We stay in the same cycle. We do the same thing year after year and time after time. And the beginning of moving us out of that cycle of chaos, that uh, badge of busyness is the vision. And asking these questions simply develops a vision for where we want to go, what might be different. And I want to encourage you, don't try to talk yourself out of the answer. Oh, that'll never happen. Well, they'll never agree to that. Oh, I can't do that. Just let the answer be. Just notice and listen to the Lord and to your heart. Because when you get still before the season, you begin to hear the truth. And the word tells us you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Years ago, before our cataclysmic Christmas, I started a tradition with my kids that became one of our favorites. And in some way, shape, or form, we still practice it today. Um, Before December 1st, I'd wrap 24 Christmas books. Now, I know you might be saying, Misty, where in the world did you get 24 Christmas books? Now, in the beginning, I got them from the library. I got them for free. And over the years, when Christmas books would go on sale, I would begin to buy fun ones and silly ones and serious ones. But I would wrap these books and I'd place them in a big basket by the tree. Each night before bed, we'd turn on the twinkling lights and the kids would take turns unwrapping one book. We'd curl up together and I'd read aloud, surrounded by giggles, cocoa, people climbing on my back to see the pictures or read along, but mostly surrounded by quiet. It was magical. It calmed and quieted our souls. This was our way of silencing the chaos surrounding our hearts and home, quieting ourselves, and remembering who we celebrate in the season. It didn't cost much. It wasn't fancy, but it filled our homes and our hearts with peace. And that's what this idea of being still before the season is really about. It's trading perfection for presence. It's doing less so that you can love more, and remembering that stillness is where joy is reborn. If this conversation is stirring something in you, maybe God is inviting you to do the same, to create space, to breathe before the season sweeps you away. That's exactly why I'm hosting the free 75-minute virtual encounter called Be Still Before the Holidays, a soul reset for busy moms. It's happening Tuesday, November the 11th at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. There will be no replay, no recording, and no pressure. It's a sacred space to pause, reflect, and hear from the Lord. You can register at momtomommentoring.com/be still. Because this year, I believe God wants you to experience more than a happy holiday. He wants you to experience a holy one. Beloved, as you move through this weekend, may you find small, sacred pauses. Maybe in the quiet moments after the kids go to bed or after you drop them off at school. Maybe in the early morning sunrise. Or perhaps just the simple joy of remembering to take a deep breath, because He's still speaking and His voice brings peace. I want to close today with Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you because they trust in you. Father, may each woman that is listening right now feel your nearness. May she be enveloped by who you are as the Prince of Peace. Let her striving come to a quiet rest, if only for a moment. Let her home and her heart be filled with your peace. and your joy. Beloved, thank you for joining me today. Remember, when you shine, you give others permission to shine too. Until next time, be still and let the Prince of Peace lead your way.